Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Valiant and watched the stars pass by. His ship was 3 weeks into a routine patrol of the outer colonies. Everything had been quiet. Too quiet, perhaps. He had learned in his 20 years of military service that quiet moments never lasted long. "Commander, we're receiving a priority message from Earth," his communication officer called out. "It's marked urgent." Jake straightened in his chair. "Put it through." The screen flickered to life, showing Ambassador Helen Grant. She looked tired, and there were dark circles under her eyes. That was never a good sign. "Commander Morrison, I need you to change course immediately. Head to New Haven Colony. We have a situation." "What kind of situation, Ambassador?" Jake asked. Helen took a deep breath. "The Krell Empire has issued an ultimatum. They want 3 of our colony worlds. New Haven is one of them. They say the planets have minerals they need. They've given us 30 days to evacuate our people and hand over the worlds." Jake felt his jaw tighten. The Krell were a reptilian species known for their aggressive expansion. They had conquered a dozen smaller civilizations in the past century, but they had never threatened humanity before. "What did the Galactic Council say?" he asked. "That's why I'm calling. I just came from the council chambers. The elder species warned the Krell not to attack us. They actually warned them, Jake. I've never seen anything like it." Dr. Lisa Brennan, the ship's chief science officer, stepped closer to hear better. "What exactly did they say?" Helen looked at Lisa. "The council told High Arbiter Vexnall that humans are dangerous when provoked. They said attacking us would be a terrible mistake. But Vexnall laughed at them. He said we're just soft colonists who've never fought a real war." Jake exchanged a glance with Lisa. Humanity had fought wars, terrible wars, wars that had nearly destroyed Earth itself. That was why they had finally united and reached for the stars. But the Krell didn't know that history. Most alien species didn't. "What are our orders?" Jake asked. "Prepare evacuation procedures for all 3 colonies, New Haven, Meridian, and Terra Nova. The government is still deciding how to respond, but we need to be ready to move civilians if necessary." "And if the Krell attack before the 30 days are up?" Helen's expression hardened. "Then you defend our people with everything you have." The transmission ended. Jake sat back in his chair and rubbed his temples. New Haven had 2,300,000 people. Families, children, people who had left Earth to build better lives among the stars. "Lisa, what minerals are they talking about?" he asked. Dr. Brennan pulled up data on her tablet. "The Krell want access to viridium deposits. It's rare, incredibly valuable. We use it in medical technology, cancer treatment, organ regeneration, life extension therapies. If we give up these colonies, thousands of people across human space will die from treatable diseases." "So we can't give them up," Jake said quietly. "No, we can't." Jake stood and addressed his crew. "Set course for New Haven, maximum speed, and send a message to all colony defense stations. Tell them to go to alert status." The Valiant turned and jumped to faster-than-light travel. The journey would take 6 days. Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, High Arbiter Vexnall stood in his command chamber aboard his flagship. His scales gleamed dark red in the low light. His advisors surrounded him, all of them looking nervous. "The Council is foolish," Vexnall hissed. "They fear shadows and old stories. The humans have a few small colonies and some patrol ships. They are no threat to the Krell Empire." "My lord," one advisor said carefully, "perhaps we should reconsider. The elder species have dealt with many civilizations. If they say the humans are dangerous, silence!" Vexnall's tail struck the floor with a loud crack. "I have led our forces to victory for 40 years. I know when a species is weak. The humans expanded too quickly. They spread themselves thin. They are vulnerable." He pulled up a holographic display showing the 3 human colonies. These worlds contain enough viridium to power our empire for 1,000 years. The humans cannot stop us from taking what we need. What if they refuse to evacuate? Another advisor asked. Vexanal smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. Then they will learn that the Krell do not make empty threats. We will take the worlds by force. A quick strike, overwhelming power. They will surrender after the first battle. And if they fight back? Then we will crush them. Send the message to the fleet. 200 warships. We move in 12 days. His advisors bowed and left quickly. Vexanal turned back to the star charts. He had conquered 17 worlds. Humanity would be number 18. Back on the Valiant, Jake Morrison couldn't sleep. He walked through the ship's corridors checking on his crew. They were all preparing for what might come. Loading weapons, running drills. Nobody said much, but everyone knew. He found Lisa in the science lab, still working. "You should rest," he told her. "Can't. I'm analyzing the Krell fleet composition. If they come, we need to know what we're facing." She showed him the data. "Jake, their ships are bigger than ours. They have more firepower. If they bring their full fleet, we can't win a straight fight." "I know," Jake said, "but we don't have to win. We just have to hold long enough to evacuate the civilians. And if the government decides to fight..." Jake looked at the stars through the viewport. "Then we fight. And God help the Krell, because they have no idea what they're starting." Lisa was quiet for a moment. "The Council warned them. That must mean something. It means the elder species remember what humans are capable of. They've seen our history, our wars, our determination. The Krell think we're soft because we chose peace. They don't understand that we chose peace because we know the cost of war. Do you think they'll attack?" Jake nodded slowly. "Yes. Vexanal is arrogant. He thinks he can take what he wants without consequences. He's wrong." The Valiant continued toward New Haven. In 12 days, everything would change. Captain Ryan Cole was drinking his morning coffee when the alarm started screaming. He dropped the cup and ran to the command center of Outpost 7. His defense station orbited high above New Haven, watching for any threats. "Report!" he shouted as he entered. "Sir, we have multiple contacts dropping out of faster-than-light travel, counting over 100 ships. They're Krell." The sensor officer's hands were shaking. Ryan felt his blood turn cold. "How long until the Valiant arrives?" 6 hours, sir." "And the Krell?" "They'll be in firing range in 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Ryan had 60 people on his station and exactly 12 defensive weapons. Below him, New Haven held 2,300,000 souls. There were still 18 days left in the ultimatum. The Krell had lied. "Sound the evacuation alarm on the planet. All channels. Get every civilian to the evacuation ships now." He grabbed the communications system. "This is Captain Cole to all human vessels in the system. We are under attack. I repeat, we are under attack. The Krell fleet is here." On New Haven's surface, Ben Harris was making breakfast for his 2 children when the sirens began. He had served in Earth's military for 10 years before retiring to New Haven. He knew that sound. It meant war. "Kids, grab your emergency bags now. Move!" He pulled his daughter and son toward the door. Outside, people were running in every direction, some toward the evacuation centers, others just running, not knowing where to go. Ben helped his neighbors, an elderly couple, into his vehicle. "Hold on!" he shouted and drove toward the nearest spaceport. Above them, the sky began to glow. The Krell fleet was entering the atmosphere. Lieutenant Kate Summers climbed into her fighter craft with 11 other pilots. They were stationed on New Haven as a training squadron. Now they would have to hold off a fleet. "Listen up," she said over the radio. "We're outmatched and outgunned. Our job is to buy time for the evacuation ships. Keep the Krell busy. Don't let them target the civilian transports. Stay alive as long as you can." "Yes, ma'am," came the chorus of responses. Some of the voices sounded scared. Kate couldn't blame them. Her fighter launched into space. Immediately, she saw the Krell fleet. It was massive. Dark ships with sharp angles covered in weapons. There were so many of them. "Break into 3 groups. Attack pattern Delta," she ordered. Her fighters scattered and dove toward the enemy. Captain Cole watched from Outpost 7 as the battle began. His station fired everything it had at the Krell ships: missiles, railguns, energy weapons. It was like throwing rocks at a mountain. The Krell returned fire. Their weapons tore through Outpost 7's shields in seconds. Explosions rocked the station. People were screaming. Systems were failing. "Evacuate the station," Ryan ordered. "Everyone to the escape pods." "Sir, what about you?" his second officer asked. "I'm staying. Someone needs to keep firing." Ryan pushed him toward the escape corridor. "That's an order. Go!" The officer ran. Ryan turned back to his controls. He could fire the main weapon manually. He targeted the biggest Krell ship he could see and pulled the trigger. The massive railgun shot through space and struck the Krell vessel's side. Armor crumpled. The ship began to spin. "Got you," Ryan whispered. Then another explosion hit his station. The walls caved in. Everything went dark. Lieutenant Summers saw Outpost 7 explode. 7 of her fighters were gone too. Only 5 remained, including hers, but the evacuation ships were launching, hundreds of them, rising from New Haven like silver birds. "Protect those transports!" she screamed into her radio. Her fighter swooped in front of a Krell bomber. She fired everything she had. The bomber exploded in a ball of flame. But there were too many. A Krell destroyer targeted one of the evacuation ships. The transport had 5,000 people inside. Kate watched in horror as the Krell fired. The ship broke apart. Debris and bodies scattered into space. "No!" Kate accelerated toward the destroyer. She was out of missiles. Only her guns remained. She fired continuously, aiming for the destroyer's bridge. Glass shattered. Atmosphere vented. The destroyer veered off course. Another evacuation ship escaped. Then another. They were jumping to faster-than-light travel, running for safety. But the Krell were targeting the cities now. On the surface, Ben Harris reached the spaceport. It was chaos. Thousands of people pushing and shoving to get onto ships. He got his children and the elderly couple onto a transport. The pilot looked at him. "You coming?" the pilot asked. Ben saw the sky burning. Krell ships were firing down at the cities. Buildings were collapsing. People were dying. He thought of his military training, his skills. "No, I'm staying. People need help." He kissed his children. "I'll find you later, I promise." The transport launched before his kids could protest. Ben watched it rise into the sky and disappear. Then he turned and ran toward the city. He grabbed anyone who could fight. Former soldiers, security officers, anyone. "We can't beat them in space," he told the group, "but we can make them pay on the ground, grab weapons, mining equipment, anything. We show them that humans don't give up." They scattered to fight. With makeshift weapons and determination, it wouldn't be enough, but they would try. The Valiant arrived 4 hours later. Commander Morrison saw the destruction immediately. Outpost 7 was gone. Parts of New Haven were burning. Krell ships filled the system. "Sir, we're outnumbered 10-1, Lisa said quietly. Jake looked at the tactical display. He could fight and die here, or he could save who he could save. "All ships, form up on the evacuation transports. We're escorting them out of here." He hated the order, but it was the right one. The Valiant and the remaining defenders fought their way through the Krell fleet. More ships died, more people died, but some escaped. When the last transport jumped away, Jake gave the order to retreat. Behind them, New Haven fell. The Krell landed their troops and claimed the planet. When the final count came in days later, the number made Jake's hands shake. 847,000 people dead, over a third of the colony, men, women, children, elderly, all gone. High Arbiter Vexnall sent a message to Earth. "This is the price of resistance. Surrender the other two colonies or face the same fate. Ambassador Grant recalled Earth's representative from the Galactic Council. She sent a single message back to Vexnal. You were warned. Now you will learn why. Earth's government activated protocols that hadn't been used in 200 years. Total war. Every shipyard, every factory, every resource. All of it turned toward one purpose. The Krell would pay for what they had done. Commander Morrison received his new orders along with a promotion. Admiral Morrison now. He would command the fleet that would chase the Krell across the stars. The hunt was about to begin. 3 months passed like a storm. Earth had not been this united since the colony ships first left for the stars. Every human world turned its full attention to building a war machine. Admiral Jake Morrison walked through Earth's largest shipyard. Ships were being built everywhere he looked, hundreds of them. The sound of welding and construction filled the air day and night. Workers moved in shifts, never stopping. Where there had been 30 warships 3 months ago, now there were nearly 200, and more came every day. We'll have 300 combat-ready vessels in 2 weeks, the shipyard director told him. She was a woman named Carol who had worked in civilian construction before the war. Now she built warships. They're not as big as the Krell ships, but they're fast, and they hit hard. Jake nodded. Good. We don't need to be bigger. We need to be smarter. Dr. Lisa Brennan met him at the weapons testing facility. She looked excited. That was unusual for Lisa. She was normally very calm. Jake, you need to see this, she said, leading him to a firing range. They stood behind protective glass. A technician aimed a long weapon at a thick steel target. When he fired, the target simply disappeared, vaporized, nothing left but a scorch mark. Directed energy weapon, Lisa explained. We've been working on these for years but never had a reason to finish them. Now we do. Each shot uses the same power as a small nuclear reactor, but we can fire 12 times before needing to recharge. The Krell shields aren't designed for this kind of weapon. How many can you make? Jake asked. We're installing them on every new ship, retrofitting the old ones too. The Krell won't know what hit them. Jake allowed himself a small smile. Good work, Lisa. Across the solar system, General Maria Santos was training the new Marine Corps. 500,000 volunteers from across human space. They came to fight, to avenge New Haven, to make sure it never happened again. Maria watched them run through combat drills. They trained in zero gravity, in heavy gravity, in every environment they might face. She pushed them hard. Many quit, but those who remained became something special. Listen up, she shouted at a formation of 10,000 Marines. The Krell think we're soft. They think one attack was enough to break us. They're wrong. When we land on their worlds, we're going to show them what humans do to those who hurt children. We're going to show them what real warriors look like. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am. The roar shook the ground. Commander Alex Price worked in the intelligence division. His job was different. He didn't build weapons or train soldiers. He gathered information. He hacked into Krell communication networks. He studied their supply routes, their fleet movements, their weaknesses. What he found was useful. The Krell Empire was spread thin. They had conquered many worlds, but they needed long supply lines to feed their fleets. If those supply lines were cut, their ships would be stranded, helpless. Admiral Morrison, I have something, Alex said during a briefing. He pulled up a star map. The Krell supply convoys use these 3 routes. They're predictable. Every 6 days, ships full of fuel and supplies travel from Krell space to their occupation fleet at New Haven. If we hit these convoys, we can starve their fleet. Jake studied the map. How well defended are they? Not very. They don't expect attacks this deep in their territory. Maybe 10 escort ships per convoy. We can handle that. Jake marked the locations. Good work, Commander. This is how we start. Meanwhile, on New Haven, Ben Harris was still alive. Barely. The Krell occupation was brutal. They forced humans to work in the mines, digging up the viridium they wanted. Anyone who resisted was shot. Hundreds died every day. But Ben organized a resistance. At night, they sabotaged mining equipment. They stole weapons from Krell patrols. They freed prisoners. It wasn't much, but it was something. It gave people hope. "How long until Earth sends help?" one of his fighters asked. Ben cleaned his stolen Krell rifle. "They'll come. I know they will. We just have to survive until then." The Galactic Council watched the human preparations with growing alarm. Ambassador Grant had not returned to the council chambers. Earth ignored all messages. The elder species had seen this before, long ago, with other civilizations. The quiet before the storm. One council member, an ancient being named Elder Tatham, spoke to the others. "We warned the Krell. They did not listen. Now humanity prepares for total war. We should offer to mediate." "The humans will not listen," another council member said. "Look at their fleet buildup. They don't want peace. They want revenge." "Can you blame them?" Elder Tatham asked. "The Krell killed nearly 1 million civilians, including children. If someone attacked our worlds like that, would we not respond the same way?" The council chamber fell silent. They all knew the answer. High Arbiter Vexnal received reports of human military activity. His advisors showed him surveillance images of the shipyards, the new fleet, the weapons. "Should we strike again, my lord?" one advisor asked. "Hit Earth before they're ready?" Vexnal considered it, but Earth was deep in human space, far from Krell territory. His fleet would be exposed, vulnerable. Better to defend what they had taken. "No, let them come. We hold New Haven with 200 ships. They cannot defeat us. This show of force is meant to scare us. It won't work." But privately, Vexnal felt a whisper of doubt. The elder species had warned him. What did they know that he didn't? The day finally came. Admiral Morrison stood on the bridge of his new flagship, the Justice. It was the largest warship humanity had ever built. Behind him, 300 ships waited in formation, each one crewed by people who had lost friends or family at New Haven, each one ready to fight. "All ships, this is Admiral Morrison," he said into the communications system. 3 months ago, the Krell attacked our colony. They killed our people. They thought one battle would make us surrender. They were wrong. Today, we begin Operation Reckoning. We're going to take back New Haven. We're going to chase the Krell across every star system they hold. And we're going to make them regret the day they heard the name human, for New Haven, for our fallen, for humanity. "For humanity!" 300 crews shouted back. The fleet jumped to faster-than-light travel. They emerged in the Meridian Nebula, a cloudy region of space near Krell territory. According to Commander Price's intelligence, a Krell patrol fleet of 20 ships would pass through here in 3 hours. "Position the fleet in the nebula clouds," Jake ordered. "Let's give them a surprise." The human ships disappeared into the colorful gases. They waited, silent, patient, hunting. When the Krell patrol arrived, they detected nothing. The nebula gases interfered with their sensors. They traveled through slowly, cautiously. Then the humans struck. From every direction, all at once, the new energy weapons cut through Krell shields like paper. Railguns hammered their hulls. Missiles found their engines. The battle lasted 1 hour and 47 minutes. All 20 Krell ships were destroyed. Not a single human vessel was lost. Admiral Morrison recorded a message. He sent it directly to High Arbiter Vexnal on a secure Krell military channel. The message contained only 4 words. "You were warned." The chase had begun. The human fleet did not stop after the first victory. They moved like a force of nature through space, hitting Krell supply convoys, outposts, and patrol fleets. Wherever the Krell felt safe, humans appeared. Captain Kate Summers commanded her own ship now, a fast frigate called the Reaper. Her job was simple: hunt Krell supply ships, find them, destroy them, move on. She was good at it. "Contact bearing 035, her sensor officer reported. "Krell supply convoy, 15 cargo ships, 8 escorts." Kate smiled. "All ships, attack formation. Hit the escorts first, then the supply ships. No survivors." Her small group of 5 frigates dropped out of faster-than-light travel right on top of the convoy. The Krell escorts barely had time to raise shields before the attack began. Kate's new weapons tore through them quickly. Within minutes, the escorts were debris. The cargo ships tried to run, but they were too slow. One by one, they exploded. "That's convoy Route 7 cleared," Kate reported back to Admiral Morrison. "The Krell forces at New Haven won't be getting fuel for at least 2 weeks." "Good hunting, Captain," Jake replied. "Continue operations." The Krell fleet at New Haven began to run low on supplies. Their ships needed fuel. Their troops needed food. When the supply ships stopped coming, they knew something was very wrong. Commander Ben Harris and his resistance fighters saw the Krell becoming nervous. The alien occupiers were less aggressive now. They stayed in their bases more. Some even started abandoning outer mining sites. "They're scared," one of Ben's fighters said. "They should be," Ben replied. "Earth is coming." The human main fleet arrived at New Haven 4 weeks after Operation Reckoning began. But they didn't find 200 Krell ships. They found 90. The rest had already retreated deeper into Krell space. The battle for New Haven was fierce but short. The Krell ships were low on fuel and supplies. The human fleet was fresh and angry. Admiral Morrison showed no mercy. Every Krell ship that didn't surrender was destroyed. Those that did surrender were taken as prisoners. When the last Krell ship fell, Ben Harris watched from the surface. He saw human landing craft descending. Marines poured out. They swept through the Krell bases, freeing prisoners and capturing occupiers. General Maria Santos herself came to New Haven. She found Ben and his resistance fighters. "You did good work here, Commander," she said, using his old military rank. "Your people saved lives." "Thank you, General," Ben said. "But I lost a lot of good fighters." Maria nodded. "We all did. But New Haven is free now. The Krell will pay for what they did here." Jake expected the Krell to sue for peace after losing New Haven. But his communication channels stayed silent. No peace offers, no negotiations, nothing. "They're not going to stop," Lisa said to him privately. "Vexnal can't afford to show weakness. If he surrenders now, his own people might overthrow him." "Then we keep going," Jake said. "We take the next Krell world, and the next, until they beg us to stop." The human fleet pushed deeper into Krell territory. They hit the fortress world of Draka 7, then the industrial planet of Krell Minor. Each time, the pattern was the same. The humans attacked with overwhelming force. The Krell defenders fought hard, but lost. More Krell ships retreated toward their core systems. During the liberation of Draka 7, the humans discovered something that changed everything. The Krell had enslaved other species. Thousands of aliens from conquered worlds. Forced to work in mines and factories, General Santos freed them all. The grateful aliens told her about other enslaved populations on other Krell worlds. They offered to help the humans. Some joined as guides, others as intelligence sources. A few even asked to fight alongside the humans. "The Krell have made many enemies," one freed alien told Admiral Morrison. "We have waited long for someone strong enough to stop them. You humans are that someone." The Galactic Council sent another message to Earth. They demanded humanity cease their offensive. They offered to mediate peace talks. They warned that human aggression was destabilizing the region. Admiral Morrison sent back a simple reply. The Krell murdered 847,000 civilians. They enslaved innocent species. Where was the Council then? Where were the peace talks before the attack? Don't contact us again. The Council watched helplessly as the human fleet continued advancing. Some Council members quietly began sending supplies and intelligence to humanity. They didn't do it openly, but word spread. The humans were freeing enslaved worlds. They were punishing a species that had terrorized the galaxy for decades. Maybe this war was justified after all. High Arbiter Vexnall watched his empire crumble. 15 worlds lost, 50 more abandoned as his forces retreated. His fleet was down to 100 ships, scattered across multiple systems. His advisors were panicking. "My lord, we must surrender," one said desperately. "The humans will destroy us all." "Never!" Vexnall's tail struck the advisor, knocking him down. "We are Krell. We do not surrender to lesser species." "But my lord, they're not a lesser species. They're destroying us. We cannot stop them." Vexnall looked at the tactical displays. Human forces were everywhere now. Fast strike groups hit supply lines. Main fleet elements took fortress worlds. Special forces liberated slave camps. It was coordinated, professional, relentless. "We retreat to Krell Prime," Vexnall finally said. "We gather all remaining forces. We make our stand at the homeworld. Let them come. We will fight them there." But even as he gave the order, more bad news arrived. The humans had bypassed Krell Prime. Captain Summers and her frigates were cutting off the retreat routes. The human fleet was splitting up, surrounding Krell space from all sides. "They're not coming to Krell Prime," his military advisor said quietly. "They're hunting you specifically, my lord. They want you." Vexnall felt something he had never felt before. Fear. Real fear. The elder species had been right. The humans were dangerous. He had awakened something terrible. "Gather the remaining fleet," he ordered. "All ships. We leave Krell space. We go to the Void Reach beyond the Council borders. The humans won't follow us there." His advisors exchanged worried glances. The Void Reach was uncharted space. Wild space. No one went there. But Vexnall was desperate now. The Krell remnant fleet, 40 ships carrying Vexnall and his high command, fled into the darkness. Behind them, human forces secured Krell Prime. The Krell Empire had fallen in just 6 months. Admiral Morrison received reports of Vexnall's flight. He looked at the star charts. The Void Reach was dangerous space. His fleet would be beyond Council support, beyond any backup. "Set course," he ordered. "We're not done yet." "Sir, that's outside Council space," Lisa warned. "We'll be on our own out there." "I don't care. Vexnall ordered the attack on New Haven. He killed our people. I'm not letting him escape. We finish this." The human fleet followed the Krell into the unknown. The chase continued. The Void Reach was everything the stories said. Dark space, filled with strange anomalies and ancient debris. The human fleet traveled carefully through it, following the trail of the Krell remnant. It took 3 weeks to track them down. They found Vexnall's fleet hiding near an old abandoned space station in a system called the Shattered Stars. 40 Krell ships, damaged and low on supplies, clustered around the ancient structure like wounded animals seeking shelter. Admiral Jake Morrison looked at his tactical display. His fleet surrounded the Krell completely, 300 ships against 40. There was no escape for Vexnall now. "We have them," Captain Kate Summers said over the communication channel. Her frigate was part of the encirclement. "Permission to engage, Admiral?" Jake was about to give the order when Dr. Lisa Brennan put a hand on his arm. "Wait," she said quietly. "Before we do this, we need to decide what happens next. Do we destroy them all, or do we take prisoners?" Commander Ben Harris's voice came through the channel. He had joined the fleet as a special advisor after New Haven's liberation. "They didn't show mercy to our people. Why should we show them any? Jake understood Ben's anger. He felt it too. Every human in the fleet did. 847,000 dead. The number haunted them all. I want to kill every one of them, Jake admitted. After what they did to New Haven, they deserve it. Maybe they do, Lisa said. But do we deserve to become what they are? If we slaughter them all without trial, without justice, how are we different from them? They started this war, Ben said sharply. They attacked civilians, children, the elderly. They showed us what they are. And now we show them what we are, Lisa replied. We're better than them. We have to be. Jake looked at his crew. He saw the conflict in their faces. They wanted revenge, but they also wanted to be proud of who they were. He understood that feeling. Before he could decide, a message came through. It was from High Arbiter Vexnal himself. The screen showed Vexnal looking very different from before. His scales were dull. His eyes were tired. He looked beaten. Admiral Morrison, Vexnal said slowly, I wish to negotiate surrender terms. You're not in a position to negotiate anything, Jake replied coldly. Then I beg, please, my fleet is destroyed. My empire is gone. I was wrong to attack your people. I was wrong to ignore the Council's warnings. I see that now. Please show mercy. Jake felt his jaw tighten. You want mercy? Did you show mercy to the civilians on New Haven? Did you show mercy to the children who died in your bombardment? Vexnal looked down. No, I did not. I thought you were weak. I was foolish and arrogant. I cannot take back what I did, but I can surrender. I can face justice for my crimes. Please don't kill my people for my mistakes. The communication cut out. Jake sat back in his chair. His fleet waited for his orders. One word from him and the Krell would be destroyed, erased. It would be easy. It would feel good. Admiral, General Maria Santos contacted him. My Marines are ready to board their ships if you want prisoners. Sir, Kate Summers added, whatever you decide, we'll follow your orders. Jake looked at Lisa. What do I do? You do what's right, she said simply. Not what's easy. Another transmission came in. This time it was from Elder Tatham of the Galactic Council. The ancient being had traveled all the way to the Void Reach. Admiral Morrison, the Elder said, I know you seek justice for your people. The Council failed you. We should have stopped the Krell before they attacked. We were cowards, but if you will allow it, we offer to hold trials. Vexnal and his commanders will face judgment for their war crimes. Every species in the galaxy will see that such actions have consequences. Why should I trust the Council? Jake asked. You did nothing when we needed you. You shouldn't trust us, Elder Tatham said honestly. We failed. But this is not about trust. This is about showing the galaxy who humans truly are. You have won this war. You have proven your strength. Now prove your wisdom. Jake was quiet for a long moment. He thought about the people of New Haven, the families destroyed, the children who never got to grow up. They deserved justice. But what kind of justice? He made his decision. All ships, stand down, he ordered. Do not fire. General Santos, prepare boarding teams. We're taking prisoners. Sir? Ben Harris sounded shocked. We're not murderers, Ben, Jake said firmly. We're soldiers. We fight to protect our people, not to commit genocide. Vexnal will face trial. So will every commander who participated in the attack. They'll answer for what they did. But we'll do this the right way. The human fleet moved in. Krell ships surrendered one by one. Vexnal and his high command were taken into custody. The Elder Council representatives arrived to oversee the prisoners. The journey back to Council space took 2 weeks. When they arrived, the galaxy was watching. News of humanity's victory had spread everywhere. So had news of their decision to show mercy. The war crimes trials lasted 3 months. Vexnal was found guilty of ordering attacks on civilians. His commanders were found guilty of executing the orders. The evidence was clear. The judgment was unanimous. Vexnal was sentenced to life imprisonment. His commanders received similar sentences. The Krell Empire was dissolved. Their worlds were placed under council supervision with human oversight to ensure no enslaved populations remained. The Galactic Council offered humanity a permanent seat and military command over Council defense forces. Admiral Morrison accepted on one condition. Any species that attack civilians will face total war from the entire Council, not just humanity. The new doctrine was written into Council law. Every species signed it. It became known as the Morrison Doctrine. The galaxy would remember what happened when the Krell ignored warnings. New Haven was rebuilt with help from the species humans had freed from Krell slavery. They came with supplies, workers, and gratitude. The colony became a symbol of resilience. A memorial was built for the 847,000 who died. Jake Morrison attended the dedication ceremony. Ben Harris was there too, reunited with his children. Kate Summers came, Lisa Brennan, Maria Santos. All of them stood together. They told the Krell not to attack us, Ben said quietly as they looked at the memorial. They were warned. And now the galaxy knows, Jake replied. Humans don't start wars, but we finish them. He looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, other species were watching, learning, understanding. Humanity had shown strength in war, but more importantly, they had shown wisdom in victory. The chase was over. Justice was served, and humanity had earned its place among the stars, not through conquest, but through the choice to be better than their enemies. The end.